Welcome to the fantastic Museum of Making. It's an awesome place, isn't it? Oh, come on. I mean, it's shocking, isn't it? It's shocking. Come on. Gary's written down awesome place. Don't do that. Just give me some feedback. Just before we get into it, my name's Keith Howells, and I'm part of the Project4 Learning Lab team. There are others around, and they will identify themselves shortly. Just before we start, things to know. Facilities, the toilet facilities are out the back, and they're signposted out the back of this room. The fire exits also out the back of the room, and they're also signposted. No expected fire drills today, so that's good. So if it goes, it's real. We're going to be spending most of the day either here, next door, and there are going to be a few demos upstairs this afternoon. Well, late this morning, this afternoon, so we'll signpost you to those when it happens. Timings, we're already late in the spirit of full transparency and disclosure. So my job is to get the agenda back on track. We'll go through the agenda in a bit more detail later, but the intent is we're going to finish around 4:30. And then what's going to happen after 4:30 is the grill at the back of the bar is going to raise slowly, and you're all going to watch it in anticipation that there might be a drink there for you. And once the bar's open, then it's free networking until you get bored or the museum staff throw you out. It's one of the two. In terms of support available, so the Project4 team will be in rather fetching gilets. You'll see them in black gilets. Mark is stood at the back, and he's modeling that beautifully as we speak. Wave, Mark. So if you see anyone else wearing a gilet like that, ask them for help. They may or may not be able to help. And there are some fantastic staff at the facility, and they're all wearing name badges, and they've worked really hard to put on the event that we've got today. You'll see quite a few other things going on. So you'll see cameras going on. You'll see some drawing, a massive drawing going on at the back. The audiovisual guys are here, and we'll talk about the demos outside in a bit. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, but we'll get into it shortly. So we framed this conference in terms of productivity, and what we really want to do was bring people together in the region, because there's awesome capability in the region. And the Museum of Making stands on the site of the historic silk mill, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Maybe. But certainly in the marketing material, it's billed as the first factory and the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Others would lay claim to that, but there's no doubt that that period in our history was the catalyst for the most profound and prolonged increase in productivity. This chart on the left, I'm sorry, I'm a data geek. This chart on the left is some infographic that tries to show those little circles at the bottom. They represent something like 200,000 years, and the chart's trying to show significant technological developments that have taken place in the history that we've been on the planet. And you'll see there's rather a concentration from 1800 to now. And 1800 really is the consequence of the start of the Industrial Revolution, where things start to become easier. People were scaling up efficiencies of scale, economies of scale, looking for labor, maybe not the best labor rights and workers' rights, but looking to manufacture, and the manufacturing and the prosperity that ensued enabled lots and lots of technological developments. So started a snowball, and we find ourselves here today. Just before we go a bit further in that, what we're asking from you today is connect with others. I'm an extreme introvert, so I won't do that at all unless someone absolutely forces me to do so. But there are lots of opportunities through the day to just make connections. And part of the reason that we put the conference on was to bring people together. There's an incredible amount of capability in the UK and in the East Midlands, and there aren't that many opportunities to bring that capability together and find connections. So that's what we're trying to do today. Outside, we've got our supporters, and they've got stalls outside where you can drop in. They're not going to do any hard sell unless you invite it, in which case they'll go after you. But if you feel free to drop in and just have a conversation and see some of the capability, there's some fantastic stuff outside. There's more wisdom coming into the room than there's going to be on the stage. Sorry for the speakers today, but probably it's likely that the people at the tables will know more and have a very rich set of experiences around what works and what doesn't, and we'll encourage you to share that. Just behind this rather fabulous stage, there's a little camera setup for some Vox Pops in the old shop, and Mark is going to be next to the camera, eliciting your wisdom and knowledge should you be brave enough to step in front of it. So we want to capture some of that wisdom and some of that stuff that's lost in the conversations in the moment. We want to capture it for a slightly longer term. So we want you to participate. And on that theme, some of you have worked ahead of process already. You know who you are and everyone else does. So anyone wearing a name badge with their name on it, you just cause problems. You just cause problems. So First step, if you can write your name and organization, if you like, on your badge, that will help unlock some conversations and some connections, hopefully. Even if you've got a beautiful t-shirt, Andy, then still a name badge is required. We've got such a cross spectrum of people. So we've got people from charity, we've got people from academia, we've got people from growth bodies, we've got SMEs, we've got large organizations here. It's quite a spread of people that we've got by design. So we want you to connect. And there's only one good, surefire way of connecting people together, and that's to introduce an element of competition. And so what I need you to do is nominate one person on your table who is going to be the person who submits their answers via the use of QR code technology. Let's see what happens. So, portable electronic devices are good. This is where it all breaks down, right? All the social niceties break down. You've now got a task and everyone's nervous. And I'm going to look for some positive confirmation from the tables as someone's in. Mike Rogers. Oh, Natalie's in. Fantastic. At the back. No. Peter's going no. No. Looks to me like Dave Taylor's the candidate here. I don't know. Is someone in at the back? Someone in from your table? On the QR code? Thank you. Lovely. Subtle, Gary. Thomas, someone in on your table? Yes. Bhushan's in. At the back. It's not David, I know. It's Pauli. Jonathan's in. Cool hand Luke. And Phil. We're all in. We're all in. Let's see if my phone works. Players ready. Okay, so we're going to play the quiz. It's going to test your knowledge and intellect. Quicker you answer, the more points you get. It is important. This isn't a whimsical thing. This is really critical. Answer fast to get more points. First question, when was the silk mill established? Easy stuff to start. Come on, so easy. With this stuff, you just got to build confidence, you know, get one right, move on. 2 seconds left. I wonder who got it right. Seems like the intellectual powerhouses are on the left, but let's see. Let's see. 1721, we think. The problem with this quiz, it was generated by AI. So the questions are great, but no one knows if the answers are correct. So I'm saying 1721. if anyone's got evidence to the contrary, they're welcome to take it up with me during the break. We have no idea which each table's called, but Zlatan and Fumbi are in a good place. Question 2. Chance for redemption, pressure on some. What was the significance of the silk mill's water wheel? Oh. Oh. What do you win? Let's see who wins first. And that's... yeah. It's absolute glory, yeah. Oh! I think we need to call this off. I don't think this is the right conference for you guys. I think, let's call it a day. Can we open the bar? Let's get the bar open. It was a large water wheel in the Derwent, but it powered operations, so it powered the silk throwing machines. Mechanistic industrialization at scale. I mean, obvious. I mean, let's not dwell on that. The disappointment's palpable at this stage. Let's go through the rigmarole of seeing how that's changed the scoreboard. Next one, gets easier. Gets easier. Well, I mean, we've lost some players, haven't we? That's what's happened here. This isn't a good sign. But let's see how we get on this one. What challenges did John Lomb face in building the silk mill? Opposition from local landowners, lack of skilled workers, financial difficulties, or all of these? That's it, shout it out, all of these. That's what we need, a bit of shared knowledge. Wow! Now, it's important to create a safe environment where we don't call people out. But you know who you are. I was reading it and I thought, oh, that sounds like today, doesn't it? That sounds like some of the challenges we face in our society. I guess it was ever thus. Let's see what that's done to the scoreboard now. Intrigue. We don't know who these people are. Now, Zlatan, hero to zero. Trying to make eye contact with some people to just see who they are. All right. All right, final one. We've gained some players, fantastic. True or false? The Derby lockout of 1833 to 34 started at the silk mill. Did you ask anyone, Phil, or did you just straight in? Only 15. Oh! The art of misdirection. What's he gonna do to us? What's he gonna do to us? The Derby lockout was the first national event where workers sought to regain some control over owners and industrial barons, and so it's commonly seen as the rise of the first labour movement and the first strike action, withholding our labour in return for a better deal. The silk mill was the focal point for that, but it's not where it started. Started further up the Derwent. Little bit of misdirection. I like to think we've all learned something from this. I know I have. But it's a significant place. It's a significant venue for us, and I need to look at Al to go, subtle. No one saw it. Subtle. No, I don't. I need to switch back. We haven't seen the leaderboard, have we? We haven't seen the winner. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Abby, write these people's names down. Or what does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, I knew it was the table at the back. Kia, take a photo of that table. We'll sort them out with a gift and a prize sometime in future. What is adequate recompense? Quite a lot of people on that table, actually. Anyway, good skills, everyone. Amazing how quizzes and a bit of competition just get people talking to each other. That's all we want to do. And recognize the historical significance of this place and the place that it played in our history. But there is a challenge, and the challenge is that productivity has stalled, and it's stalled for at least the last decade, maybe 15 years in the UK. The UK is not alone. Some countries do better than others, but no one's doing incredibly well. And you can see the boom post-war, post-Second World War in productivity. But as we look today, not so great. And today we've never had as much technology, never had as much technological development, and it's not enough. And that's the challenge, right? And life's difficult for lots of people locally, nationally, and around the world because of this graph. So part of our idea was to say, well, let's come back to where it all started and let's share some stuff. And the stuff we're going to share, luckily, is not from us. So that would be cool. Because there are innovative solutions out there, and the speakers that we've got today are going to share some of their experiences, and there's some really disruptional stuff in there. And we're going to see what we can learn from that. And hopefully that will be a stimulus for other conversations. So at 10:30, so that's 20 minutes time. Thank you, Tom, for looking at your watch. Alex and Pauli are going to share their story of the Orpheus project, making the impossible possible. 11:45, Peter Hill at the back is going to talk about radical innovation, and he's, just to demonstrate the point, he's brought his blue Dr. Martens with him. So as he's on the stage, you can revel in those blue Dr. Martens, and he specifically wanted me to mention that. We're going to have, in the break between the two, we're going to have time out there, and there's time set up for software demos, and there are going to be a few software demos upstairs, which I'll come on to. After lunch, Mike Rogers is going to talk about building capability at scale in AstraZeneca. Mike runs the Lean Academy in the UK, and he'll talk about their journey. If you want to catch the full agenda in detail, there's a QR code here. If you missed it on a million square foot screen in the lobby, there's also a QR code where you can get the agenda and some other stuff on there. Then this afternoon, we're going to have an awesome panel discussion. So we've got Susan, Sally, Louise, and David, and they're going to talk about inclusive productivity. So harking back to the Derby lockout. So how do we include people so that we can harness everyone's unique contribution in a more wholesome and full way? So we're going to explore some of that, and they've got some rich and diverse experience from a range of perspectives. And then we're going to end the formal stuff on the stage with Ed Clancy. Ed's an Olympic-winning cyclist, part of Team GB, and he's going to talk about In Pursuit of Perfection. So his journey with Team GB, what he learned from that, and how he sees that applying to business today. And then networking, so that grill will raise slowly, and with it the anticipation of blessed relief. And you can talk to anyone about anything you want to talk to them about. Hopefully there'll be enough provocation in the day. All of our sponsors and supporters will be together, and all of the speakers will stay for as long as they can, and you can connect and have whatever conversation you want to have a conversation about. This is the only model that we have that we'll share, and this is our learning from working with loads of different organizations across loads of different types of work around some of the key ingredients that can spark a mini productivity revolution. You can't change the world, but you can change your world, and that will radiate out. So as you listen to the speakers and look at some of the demos today, you might see some of these themes come to life. So connecting strategy to action, so aligning teams around challenging goals and targets, and connecting outcomes to outputs. Lots of businesses today chase and count outputs, but pay rather less attention to outcomes, and probably it's the outcomes that they really want. So connecting strategy to action at all layers in an organization is probably a good thing to do. The second one is about creating transparency, and this is in the domain of some of our software partners. So as you see the software partners later, you'll see lots of mechanisms to make work and problems transparent and to encourage and facilitate open communication and informed decision-making. People tell me that data is the gold of the 21st century, but it's not really. It's our attention and our ability to translate data into information to make better decisions. We're not short of data. Most businesses are short of informed decisions. And there'll be a whole bunch of reasons for that. Step 3 for us is to establish what we'd call a collaboration cadence. So this is, the world's uncertain. So how do we have teams working in sync with each other and to create time and space at regular intervals that people who are dependent on each other talk and align? I mean, it's crazy stuff, right? But doesn't always happen in businesses. Many businesses set a plan, monitor their deviance from the plan, say it's all going to be fine tomorrow. Tomorrow may come, and then they end up with outcomes that they're not incredibly happy with. So keeping people in sync, recognizing that in many organizations, when you get above micro businesses, people need to collaborate as teams. It's aligning those teams. Enabling people to win together. So that might be helping them to collaborate when it's not normal, or it might be skill development. So enabling people to win so that they can give their best contribution, and we can unlock their latent potential is a great thing to do. And finally, striving for better, that mindset thing. So I'm certain Ed will talk about marginal gains at the end, but really that point of do something, reflect on it, do we need to change, what have we learned from that, what are we going to do next time? That continual cycle of making it small is key in our experience to making rapid change and large-scale change. So that's our model. You'll see some of those themes picked out in the conversations and the talks, or you might see your own themes. Really doesn't matter. Just before I release you back into the wild, just a word of thanks for our supporters. This conference isn't possible without contributions from both our partners and the sponsor. So we've got 3 partners with us today. We've got P3MO. Guys, make yourselves known. Andy, Martin at the back. Yeah, just spread across the tables. They've got a screen outside, and they'll show you how to align your planning and business objectives and make more data-driven decisions. We've got Business Map. Where's Bissa? Bissa's at the back with a coffee. Big heads up. Bissa's the CEO of Business Map, an enterprise agility solution to connect strategy to action. So line of sight directly from top corporate goals right down to work that people are doing today. Bissa's outside as well, going to have a screen running. And finally, we've got Ayabaya. Make yourselves known. Fantastic. 2 at the back. And Ayabaya are an enterprise-scale visual management provider. You might think that's a bit weird. I don't know what that is. Go and see the guys. It's incredible technology to connect up, to create meaning for people doing their stuff and drive transparency. So we're going to have some software demos throughout the day. One this morning, one this afternoon. Gives you the opportunity to see everyone, drop in and see what you think. And then finally, our sponsor, Infosys Consulting, make yourselves known. Just behind the banner, thank you. Well, Louise is prominent, but some of the other guys are a bit like, oh, no. So a global leader in next-gen digital services and consulting. So they're going to be around as well. Got some banners up, and feel free to have a chat and meet those guys. So hopefully it's going to be a great day. That depends on what you do. I'm done. Up next, Paoli and Alex, and that's going to be 10:30 in here, the Italian Mill, which means you've got around 10 minutes to get another coffee, go outside, have a chat, do whatever you need to do. Anyway, thank you. Let's have fun.